I want to show you a tip diffracted signal. What I have is a carbon steel block. This block of steel is 1 inch thick, and this block has an EDM notch cut in it all the way through the whole width. This is about 1.5 inches wide block. It's 1 inch thick, and this EDM notch, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's 300 thousandths. So I have this 1 inch thick block, a notch 300 thousandths, and I'm going to show you a tip diffracted signal, and it will tell you how deep this tip is, and so it'll tell you how much through wall, or from the bottom or from the ID of this bar, how long is that. I measured it as 300 thousandths, but I'll show you how to do it ultrasonically. And this is basically the setup. I'm using a 45-degree transducer, 4 megahertz, my Olympus Epic 1000i machine, and this is my block. It's 1 inch thick, and in this case I have the notch is 300 thousandths deep, and I'm going to place my 45-degree transducer on here, and I'm going to find that crack, that ID connected crack. So I'm using a 45 because it is the perfect corner trap. I can hit the corner of this ID connected notch, and it will ring the tip diffraction. The sound will ring from that tip, and we will see it on the screen, and I can actually measure the depth of that tip and subtract it from the thickness of my part, and that will be the depth or how much through wall this crack is. So I'm going to use my transducer and point it in this direction. I've calibrated my machine using an IIW block, and I set up my full screen width is 2.8 inches. And the reason I did that, at 45 degrees, 1 inch thick, the full V-skip is 2.8 inches. My ID would be mid-screen, and then the top of my of this bar would be out here at the very end. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to just lay this transducer down, and right there we can see, let me bring this gain down. This is my ID connected notch. Let me try to peak this guy up. I'm going to go back and forth, peak it. There's my peak. Take my gate, move my gate over this signal, turn off the peak memory, take it 80% full screen height, and we can see the depth is 0.990. That is the corner trap. That's right down here. That is my part thickness. The signal is hitting here. Let me increase the gain, and we'll see if that tip starts to show up. And it is starting to show up right here. See, as I move in, as I move this transducer in, I'm walking that signal, that 45-degree signal up, and we can see right here, as I move in, that's my corner trap. See this little tip coming up? That tip, that is the tip of this EDM notch. It's radiating, ringing out, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my peak memory, and I'm going to move back and forth, and there, we're peaking. That's the peak of that tip. So let me turn off peak memory. Let me move my gate over to capture that signal. I don't want to capture my corner trap because it will. That's the thickness of the plate. Take 80% full screen height, and look at my signal. My depth is 0.698, basically 0.7 inches. So it's saying that the tip of this EDM notch is 0.7 inches down from the top surface, 0.7 inches down. So if I take my total thickness is 1 inch, subtract 0.7 inches, that leaves me with 0.3 inches. And 0.3 inches, I'm only off by 0.02 of an inch, half a sheet of paper thickness. So that right there is the tip diffracted signal.